What is going on, everybody? I hope you can hear me okay. I had a little audio problem just a minute ago. If you can hear me just fine, please let me know in the chat. I'd appreciate it. If I sound like a robot, let me know and I'll have to restart the stream. So I'm going to wait just a couple seconds and see if you can hear me okay. Hopefully you do. If I sound like a robot, let me know, guys. Let me know. Let's see, where are we at? We're talking about Conan. Well, I guess I should do my intro too. I guess this kind of threw me off because my audio was wigging out earlier. So yeah, let me know if you can hear me okay. Yeah, welcome back to another edition of Logician Tim Learns with me, your host, Logician Tim. All right, cool. Hear you well. Thank you so much, Joe. This is the show where you get to watch me go from a total gaming newbie to a streaming newbie sometimes. Well, a more informed gaming newbie for sure. Hey, thanks so much for that, Joe. I'm glad you could hear me okay. I had some weird audio glitches earlier, so not sure what's going on. Anyways, yes, we are back. We're talking about this Conan RPG, and so far I'm kind of digging it. And tonight we're going to be talking about character creation, and there's some cool stuff in character creation in the Conan RPG, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let's just kind of dive right in and see what we can learn. So we bust open the book, and they start telling us that there are 10 steps to creating a character in the Conan RPG. So first is choosing your homeland, then your attributes, your cast. Is C-A-S-T-E. Is that caste or cast? Let's Google it. I like learning new stuff. How is cast? C-A-S-T-E. How is that pronounced? Yeah, cast. Cast. Okay. It's like you got a cast on your leg, but it's spelled with an E. So yeah, we're learning stuff together, guys. So C-A-S-T-E. So you're going to do your homeland, your attributes, your cast, your story, your archetype, your nature, your education, war story, finishing touches, and then final calculations. And so there's 10 steps to it. It sounds like a lot, but it actually goes pretty quickly, I think. Let's dive right in. The first one they tell us about is your homeland. And this is the first thing you're going to do. You're going to either pick or you're going to roll on your homeland. They have this, I'm on the wrong page. I love doing that. They have this, they have these great little charts here for you that if you want to roll the dice on everything, you can. If you want to choose for everything, you can. And it's pretty neat. They have this chart of all these different homelands that you can choose from. And what's really neat about this is beside each homeland is a page number. And I really like this. This refers you to, this one's called Gunderland. And if you want to know more about them, you'll flip to page 211 and you can read all about Gunderland Homeland. Here's another one from Samaria, where you can switch to page 208 if you want to read more about that. The Black Kingdoms, you can turn to page 198 to learn more about that. And they have this nice thing, page numbers right there for us to be able to flip back and forth really quickly. So it's kind of neat. Now, by choosing your homeland, you're also going to get to pick up a talent and a primary language. And so on right next to the homeland is a talent that you can pick up. One of them is called Cosmopolitan. One of them is a hunter, strife, sea raider, savage court, gilded. There's all types of these talents that you can pick up, and each one of these has their own primary language as well that's going to be common in that area. Okay. And they give us a little bit of a rundown on these talents that you get. Like Cosmopolitan, it kind of gives you a little thing says here that your homeland has many visitors and people dwelling within it, all with different customs and tongues. When speaking with a non-player character that also has the Cosmopolitan talent, it is assumed that you each possess enough of each other's language in common that you're considered fluent when speaking with one another. So you can pick that up if you're picking, what is this called? Aquilonia. That's the Cosmopolitan talent that you can pick up. Here's one called Hunter. You lived with the wild as a constant neighbor, and you know how to take from that environment what is necessary for survival. When in the rural parts of your homeland, the difficulty for any survival test that you attempt is going to be reduced by 1, even if this reduces the difficulty of the test to simple. So some of these, these different homelands that you choose are going to give you these different talents, and each one of those talents are going to give you a little bit of a kind of a special ability, give you some bonuses to your skills and things like that. And so be sure to read through those talents before you choose your homeland. I think that's going to go into it a whole lot, kind of depending on what type of character that you want to play. They have things like being a C rater, which reduces the test of difficulty. Test made. So any skill test made in your homeland's waters are going to be reduced by 1. And so that's kind of cool. Winterborn, Savage Court, Honest Corruption. What's this one say? Honest Corruption. In the land of corrupt merchants and honest thieves, you have gained a sixth sense about those who are likely to betray you. When interacting with a non-player character for the first time, you can make a free advantage, which is D1, thievery or counsel test, to gain a general feel for the trustworthiness of the non-player character. So that one here, this Honest Corruption, allows you to see if people are trustworthy or not. Just sounds really cool to me. And each one of these are going to give you some special abilities and some skill boosts and stuff like that. And so it's kind of neat. Your character is going to start, kind of bare, and then it's going to build over time. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit now. The next section is picking your attributes. And in Conan, there are 7 attributes. There's agility, awareness, brawn, coordination, intelligence, personality, and willpower. Okay. Now, agility does your acrobatics, your melee, your stealth skills. Awareness does your insight, observation, survival, like thievery, and it determines your bonuses with your ranged weapons. That's for awareness. Your brawn attribute does things like athletics and resistance, and it also determines the damage bonus and your vigor reserve, like melee bonuses. Coordination does your parry, your ranged weapons, your sailing skills, things like that. Intelligence is like crafting and healing, linguistics, lore, and some of the less common skills like alchemy and warfare, some of those things. The personality trait is your animal handling, command, counsel, persuade, and society. And it also determines your bonus damage for what they call threatened actions. And we're going to be getting into those on another stream. And then finally, the last one is willpower attribute, which is your discipline and your sorcery. I'll get it out. And then it determines your resolve capacity too. So your resolve is like how much mental trauma that you can take. And so willpower is going to help to determine that. Now, each one of your attributes are going to start out at 7. Okay, you don't really have to worry about it. All of them are going to be 7 when you start, and then they're going to be modified throughout this character creation process. Now, they did say if you wanted to bump, 1 or 2 down to 6 and bump, take those 2 points and move them up in another area, like you can make one an 8 and another one an 8, then you can do that. It's not a big deal. But most of the time, you're going to start with 7. And you're going to build up from there during the character creation process. And when you start out, you're going to roll on this little attributes page. After you set them all to 7, you're going to roll on this little attributes page a couple of times. And these are going to give you things like your mandatory attributes, where it's going to give you some of your bonuses, give you a couple of bonuses to a couple of your skills just starting out, or your attributes starting out. And then you're going to select your worst and your best attributes. And so whichever one you want to be your best and whichever one is your worst, you're going to select those. Your best one is you're going to get 3 points to put in that. So you're just going to raise that by 3. Your worst one is going to get a +1, and then all the rest of them are going to get a +2. So you're already way above that 7 average, right? And then after that, they allow you to pick an additional attribute and raise that by 1 as well. So they have these, you're really starting out really low, but then they give you a ton of stuff to go ahead and start bumping up those attributes and kind of customizing your character right there from the get-go. Sounds pretty cool. Now they have, now it kind of moves on to your cast. And the cast, C-A-S-T-E, is what they call the social class from where you were born, or kind of where you emerged from. Because they talk about, like, if you were born, like a prince or something like that, you could definitely be kidnapped and raised in a totally different area, like a poor person, right? And so the caste is like your social class and kind of where you're raised in for the most part. And you can roll, and all these are kind of the same, where you can roll or you can choose from the table. You don't have to rely on just the dice. But if you just want to go totally random, you can. And I like that. And so they have this table here, and the caste is kind of like your, almost like an occupation in some sense. They have things like crafter, you were an escaped serf or slave, farmer, herder, merchant, outcast, petty nobility, priesthood, or warrior. And so they have all these different ones that you can either roll on or choose. And each one of these has their own little, their own talents associated with it and skill associated as well. And so you're going to get +1 to the skill expertise and +1 to the skill focus for that skill. So warrior, for example, has the skill parry, and you're going to get +1 skill expertise and +1 skill focus to your parry. Then you're also going to pick up the 2 talents, sentry and subject. And so yeah, you're going to be picking up these types of cool things. Now, let me go to the warrior description here. It says, one of your parents fought and died in battle. Your grandparent died guarding a city wall, having seen nothing more than occasional tavern brawl. There was never a choice as to whether you'd pick up the blade as calling, only the question as to how you'd turn a profit from it. And so if you choose a warrior, it has this nice little description for you here, and the talents listed, and also the skill that you're going to gain as well. So it's kind of cool. I like the way that they kind of lay this out with these descriptions of all these different pieces so that I can go through here and kind of surf really quickly and decide if that's for me or not. Kind of cool. Now you're going to move on to the 4th step, which is your story. And this is where you're going to pick or roll, again, on your character's story. And this is based kind of on your cast that we just talked about. And you will roll on the appropriate chart, kind of depending on what you picked in the previous section on the cast, okay? And so let's go to, they have them on crafters, escaped serf or slave stories, farmer stories. Let's go over to the warrior one, because I think that's the one that we used before. Here we go, warrior stories. And so they have this chart here, again, that you can roll from or choose from. And you can get things like you could have a decisive victory. And what would that one be? Decisive victory, and it kind of gives you this little description. The war saw you fight in many battles, gaining glory as you survived. Then the final clash came. You leapt to the front, proud of your place in the vanguard. Horses cried in pain as arrows rained down, and through the blood and smoke of the field, you saw your opportunity, right? And it kind of goes on. It kind of tells you a little bit about what your story is. So it's kind of neat that they do these type of things. And depending on your story, you're going to get a trait that goes along with it. So decisive victory, the one that I just read or read part of it to you, gets the trait valorous, right? This other one called glorious battle gets the trait veteran. And what is this other one? Blood-soaked endeavor. Sounds pretty cool. You get the trait greed. So you're going to start picking up some of these traits and skills and talents, things like that, along the way as you're building your character. All right, so let's move on to the next step, which is choosing your archetype. And you can either pick or you can roll on your archetype, and there's 10 of them. There is, and actually I'm going to switch to this page because you can actually see them on the page here. It's kind of cool. They have the archer, the barbarian, the mercenary, the noble warrior, the nomad, the priest or priestess, pirate, scholar, scoundrel, or witch or shaman, right? They have all these different archetypes for you to choose from. And each of these archetypes are going to give you 7 total skills, and they each have their own bonuses. And you're also going to gain career trait and equipment as well. So let's just look at the archer one real quick. It says, whether trained alongside the legendary Bosnian archers within one of the militaries of the great Middle Kingdoms, or even skilled in Hyrcan's horse archery, you are now a practiced archer, capable of sending iron-tipped shafts across great distances with accuracy. And it gives us our skills. The career skill, you get +2 expertise and +2 focus in the ranged weapons skill. Then it tells us our career talent is accurate. Mandatory skills, you get +1 in expertise and focus to animal handling, observation, stealth, and survival. And then you have elective skills as well, where you can pick up acrobatics, athletics, or melee. And then you get your equipment, like your bow and your reloads. Choice of one of the following. They have like a padded gambeson and trousers, a brigandine vest and trousers, or a mail vest. Then you get a helmet, melee weapon of your choice, and you can either be riding a horse or a donkey. Yeah, that's it. So each one of these archetypes has its own little description for you, along with the career skills, the career talent, the mandatory skills that you get with it, the elective skills that you get with it, and the equipment, all listed for you with these cool pictures. And I like that, right? My throat's kind of scratchy still today. I feel like I was hoping to get better today with my throat being sore yesterday, but it's getting a little bit worse. So hopefully it turns around. All right, we'll get here. We'll get through here. All right. Then after you pick your archetype, and again, you can see how your skills and things are starting to build, right? Well, after you pick your archetype, you're going to pick your nature. And again, you're going to either roll or you're going to pick. And if archetype kind of tells what your character does, well, your nature tells you kind of how and why your character might choose to act in a certain way, right? It's your nature. It's my nature to be greedy, right? Or something like that. So here they have some of these for us. And again, you're going to choose or roll on this table. And they have cautious, curious, inspirational, learned, practical, scheming, sneaky, stoic, supportive, or wrathful, right? And these are the different types of nature. And of course, they all have their cool explanations for us. Like sneaky, let's go to that one. They say information is power, and it's best to keep others in the dark when it comes to you. You have learned to move quietly, speak softly, and keep your true motives to yourself. And you're going to get some attributes and some skills and talents as well. So the attribute for sneaky is you get +1 to your awareness. Mandatory skills, you get observation, stealth, and thievery. Your elective skills, you get acrobatic, athletics, or survival. And talent, you get to pick one talent associated with any of the above skills, right? And so you can go through here and pick out which ones are going to suit your character the best. And so again, you're going to keep kind of customizing your character as you go through the steps of character creation. Step 7 is education. Now, they tell us that literacy is really rare, and most of what is learned kind of comes at the price of experience. And they say some lucky people are going to enjoy that they're taught by their parents or find a mentor or tutor for them to learn things. Others are going to be a lot less fortunate, and they'll learn their lessons from hard way, either through slave camps or guilds and things like that. And again, your education can be rolled on or chosen just like everything else. And they have things in here. Let me go to our education. So some of these are like your education you learn from your masters, like your tutors. Maybe you're largely absent. Maybe you learned on your own terms. You were traditional. You learned under duress, right? Under an elder mentor, against your parents' will, all these types of things. And each one of these are going to come with some new skills, talent, and equipment from your education. Now let's pick one of these and kind of look through it real quick. Let's pick through on your own terms down here. So let's say your education was on your own terms. Well, it tells us you already knew what you wanted and sought out your own education when it was clear it would not be offered to you. Driven, you chose your teachers carefully and found other means of learning when there were none to instruct you. Even now, you follow your own path to enlightenment. And you're going to pick up some of these skills, mandatory skills. You're going to get acrobatics, athletics, and stealth. Elective skills you can pick from craft, lore, or survival. A talent is you can pick one talent that's going to be associated with any of those skills. And on this one, you get no equipment. Excuse me. You get no equipment with on your own terms. I think some of these other ones have. Yeah, this one has like a family heirloom. If you follow your family footsteps, you get a family heirloom, a little more than a sentimental value. And so, yeah, some of these are going to come with some different equipment and trinkets and things like that. So kind of cool. Now, we're going to move forward to your war story. And because they say that war is everywhere in the Hyborian area, and war, of course, changes everyone. And here again, you're going to roll or you're going to pick your character's war story. And you're going to gain skill improvements in the areas kind of noted in these charts. So some of the war stories they have are like defeated a savage beast. Maybe you gained the favor of a local noble. You prevented a disaster. Maybe you were shipwrecked or you survived a duel. You survived a massacre, something like that. And depending on which one you choose or roll on, then you're going to get these following skill improvements. So if you defeated a savage beast, you're going to get +1 to your animal handling and your melee. If you're shipwrecked, you're going to get +1 to your athletics and sailing. Why isn't it swimming in there? Maybe that's athletics, right? Survived a massacre, you're going to get +1 to stealth and survival. And so again, you're adding your skills as you go along. You keep adding these pluses to it. And I kind of like that. You're building your character from scratch. And it truly is a character creation. You're not just kind of picking and choosing one archetype that's going to decide your character. No, you really get to customize your character with these different types of skills and things based on all these choices that you make. Next, we're going to talk about the finishing touches. And here you're going to get some additional bonuses before you finalize your character. And so this is where they go, okay, you've done everything. Let's go ahead and give you a few more points and a few more things to do so that you can kind of put them wherever you want to, right? And so you're going to do that with your attributes, where they tell us that you can increase 2 of your attributes by 1, or you can increase 1 attribute by 2. I'm going to give you basically 2 points. You can spend it in whatever attribute that you want. But just know that attributes can't go over 14, okay? 14 is the max when you start off. And anything over 12, so if you have 13 or 14, it's going to give your character what's called the Ancient Bloodline talent, and which is kind of cool, because you're almost like superhuman in some areas, but it means that people might treat you differently. They might be afraid of you or be prejudiced against you. So you might not want your character to have those that talent, Ancient Bloodline, where people might treat you differently. So you might want to keep them below 12 or below. But if you don't care, go to 13 or 14. So yeah, you're going to add those points to your attributes. Skills, they give you some points to add. You can add 1 to 3 skill of your choice, and then they give you 2 more to add, to 1 skill and 1 plus 1. So basically give you like 4 or 5 skill points, 3, 5, 6 skill points that you're going to be able to use to just about anywhere that you want. I think one of them you had to do 3 points and 1 skill. One of them you had to do 2 points and 1 skill. And then they give you a few points that you can put just 1 point wherever you want. But anyway, so they're giving you free skill ups, right? So you'll take them. They give you a talent where you can increase your they don't give you a new talent. They give you a point, basically a rank, that you can use to put in any talent that you want. So if you have this talent, you can raise it by 1 rank. Language, they give you 1 extra language that you can pick for your character. And then they have fortune points. And we haven't really gone over this. This was the first time they mentioned this, where they have fortune points. And fortune points, from what they briefly described in here, and I'm sure we're going to go over them later a lot more detail. Fortune points, these are points that are represented by, that represent like good luck or fate, something like that. And they tell us that it allows you to automatically succeed at skill rolls or accomplish some type of task. And you're going to start out with 3 of these fortune points, and you can earn some more somehow through playing. So I guess we'll find out how. Basically, these fortune points are going to automatically refresh at the start of each gaming session. So be sure to use them, is what it sounds like to me. So your fortune points are in there. Personal belongings, they give us a little table here on page 45 that has some personal belongings that you can roll twice on. You'll get to pick a couple of knickknacks, like an ornate symbol of your father's face. Could be deerskin leggings and a heavy hooded cloak. So you could get all types of little knickknacks and stuff like that, right? And then finally in this step is your weapons. They give you a couple extra weapons, and again, you can roll on them or you can choose them. You can choose 2 additional. Anything from a knife, a sword, broadsword, a war pick, a whip, sharpened rock, right? All types of things that you can pick from to have as weapons in there. So kind of cool. Let's see. And then I think we just move on to the final calculations. Where are we here? Where's our final calculations? Here we are. Okay. So now that you kind of have everything done, you're going to look at your final attributes, where your attributes are now, and determine your vigor, your resolve, and your starting gold. Okay. Your vigor is going to be equal to your brawn attribute plus your resistance skill. Okay. That's going to give you your vigor. Your resolve is going to be equal to your willpower attribute plus your expertise in the discipline skill. And your gold is going to be, your starting gold, how much gold you start off with, is going to be equal to your personality attribute and your expertise in the society skill. So it's kind of cool. They take an attribute and one of your skills, and those kind of equal some of these things. So kind of keep that in mind when you're creating your character. If you want to have high resolve, then make sure that your willpower attribute and your discipline skill is really high, right? You might want to go back and make some adjustments. Now you're also at this point, you're going to calculate your damage bonuses, right? And these are going to be based on your attributes, and it gives us a nice little chart here. So your melee attacks you're going to get a bonus to your melee attacks from the brawn attribute. The ranged attacks get their bonuses from awareness, and mental attacks get their bonus through the personality attribute. Now this nice little damage chart over here. And so if your attribute is 8 or less, you get no bonus. If it's 9, you get 1 bonus. If it's 12 to 13, you get 3, and so on, right? And so you're just going to put those down on your character sheet so that you'll know what type of bonuses that you're getting based on your attributes. And remember that when your attributes change, your bonuses will also change. You'll need to go over there and change that those damage bonuses. Make sure you don't forget about those. And that's really about it. You from there, you get to kind of name your character, determine their age, their personality, and their appearance for the most part. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all there is to creating a character in Conan. And here's what's really neat. So it was a lot of pages, of this. And if it's way too complicated for you, if this is your first time and you don't feel like dealing with all this crap, you don't have to. They have actually sample characters created already for you. And you can just choose from them, and you can take them just how they are, or you can modify them however you want. You can do them randomly, or roll on them, or you can just go through and surf them all you want. And so that's kind of cool that they have these pre-made characters for you. So if you don't feel like going through all these steps, then you can just take one of the pre-made ones, maybe tweak it out a little bit, maybe change its name or something like that, and just roll with it. So I like that. I think that's kind of cool. I like it when books do those things, make my life easier if I want to take the easy route, right? Especially the first time in, you don't know if you want to spend all these hours creating a character. Maybe you just want to just jump right in the game. Sometimes it's like that. All right, well, that's it for me tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over the mechanics and the rules section of the book, where we can find out kind of more about how these attributes and skills and talents and things, how they come together and work in the game. And so I'm kind of excited to see how that works, because like I said, it's a 2D20 game, and then you use D6s as well. I've never done this before, so I'm excited to see what they have to tell us with this. So that's it for me tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate it if you like the stream. That always helps me out. Share it. Yeah, I like seeing new faces around here. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll just love seeing people comment on the YouTube videos. There's been several of them lately, and it always just makes me feel good. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to throw them down into the comment section. I'm always quick to see those, and I usually reply pretty quickly on those. Anyways, that's it for me tonight. I will see you all tomorrow night. We'll be talking. We'll be talking about the mechanics section of the Conan RPG. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.